Hi guys, it's a boy Nisarg. I'm going to start this series wherein I'll be solving a lot of legal questions. And no, this is not the algorithms and DSA. This is the SQL questions that I'll be solving. Yes, for now I'll be starting with that, and I'll make it a habit to come daily, solve this question on our own. Look at the best solution, look at the brute force solution, and then discuss about any other solution that the audience has to discuss. Okay. So the sole motivation and the whole purpose of doing this is to brush up on my SQL concept. And obviously, coming daily, being very consistent is very uh, helpful when it comes to data related roles. So obviously, even if you are trying to apply for a data analyst, data scientist, data engineer role, you cannot ignore SQL. It's the backbone of every job out there. Not only the data roles, but also the SDs and all. So yeah, you have to have a very strong command on this language. And yeah, so I would definitely recommend you guys to uh you know watch my videos or even solve it on your own. I don't mind. Just do it. I'm just doing it for the sake of being consistent daily. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So this is how I'll be starting. I'll be looking at the code. I'll be looking at the questions from 0 to 100, just like you guys are looking at it right now. And then I'll code with you guys. And then, okay, we can also discuss about what to do and what better we could have done the solution. So, yes, let's get started. It's the day one. Um, let's solve this very basic question. I know it will take around 2 or 3 minutes for someone who knows SQL, even 20 to 30% of it. But yeah, and obviously, this is not from an interview point of view. Obviously, it will help you in the interviews as well. But I feel having a strong command over this language will eventually help you succeed in all the roles that you take up in the future. So yes, I would definitely recommend you guys to, solve not only the algorithm questions, but also respect the questions that you have in the SQL domain. So yes, let's get started. So what do we have here? It's the person ID, which is the primary key. I hope the prerequisite to this video is only that uh, you should be knowing the basics of SQL, that what is a primary key, what are fact tables, what are dimensional tables, what is a foreign key, how do you apply joins. Okay, as I go through it, I will explain on my way, but okay, having some background knowledge in SQL is really will really help you find this video very useful. Okay, so person ID is the primary key. We have three columns, which is person ID, last name, and first name. This table contains information about the ID of some persons and their first and last names. All right. This is the address table. Okay. This is the table and this is the table two. Address is the primary key, column with unit values for this table. Okay. So address ID and the person ID. Okay. Address ID is the primary key for this. But each of this table contains information about the city and the state of person with ID equals to person ID. So okay, here you can see person ID, and here is the person ID. This is the joining key. This is how we'll connect those or join those two tables. Now, what do we want totally depends on the question. What if we want a left join or a right join or the inner join? Uh, yeah, I'll broadly classify into three of them for now at least. And other joins are just self joins, outer join are just the subset of the already existing ones. Um, so yes, write a solution to report the first name, last name, city, and state of each person in the person table. If the address of the person is not in the table, then report null. Okay, so whenever comparing two tables and we are giving an output third table, and if there is null value that is acceptable in the final result, okay, so we have to be very much I don't know if it's the uh experience that I have working as a data analyst for 2 years, that whenever I see questions like this, I get to know, okay, this is a left join, this is a right join, this is a inner join, or this is a self join, something like that. It will develop after a point of time. So for now, what I want you to focus on is uh person ID is not present, then you have to report a null instead. So if at all this was not the question, Okay, if reporting null was not the question, then we would have to have a inner join that is only taking the all the columns from the address table wherein we only get a match. So where we don't get a match, we don't have to show that if it would have not been this case, but obviously we have to report the null cases as well. So let's get started with this. What is the final table output looks like? So usually what I'll do is for output, I usually don't read a lot of this instruction. Rather, I'll go see the output and make sure all the indentation and all the character names and spelling mistakes are not in place. So okay, select first name. Okay, and it's capital. And obviously, if you don't put this n as capital here, then it will throw an error as to, yeah, some syntax. Not a syntax error, but a error basically. You have to deal with that now. So from there is no address in the table. Okay, it shows null for that. Okay, makes sense. What we'll have it here is let's take all the people from the person table, right? Person ID. So first name, last name. Okay, let's define this and as person. This is the table name. Give the alias as P. I usually give it as T1 and T2 and T3, just like that. But for better understanding, I'll give this. I'll make sure that I apply left join because I told you null values are accepted. Because if you see here, the first person is Wang, Alan, and second is Alice Bob. Okay. Address table gives the person ID. Let's just compare this. The person ID 1 and 2 and 3, right? So we have to take from all the person, we have to give all the result for this person. So if you can see Alan and Bob are the two, base results that we have to have. So these are not the base results. So we are not doing from address table, right? We have to take it from these tables and then make a left join. So if we join the first table on the person ID, it'll be 1:1, which is not a possibility here, right? There is no joining key or no uh, value against 1 in the person ID for the address table. So here, as you can see, for the first one, which is sorry, for the Alan Wong, the first one, the city is null and the state is null because there is no data present against this person ID in the address table. I know it may get confusing at first, but trust me, it's easy if you look at it that way, and it's easy. Let's we can also take it as lookup in Excel, but yeah, let's not confuse. Let's not get confused anymore. So the second person ID, this will make you understand better. The second one. So here you can see there is a joining key. So the data for second person, Alice, is present in the first table, which is person, and also in the second table, which is address table. So that's how we'll join on based on the person ID. So Alice Bob will have the city as New York and the state as New York. I mean, city as New York City, obviously. So this is what the result we wanted here as. So okay, let's get started with the coding aspect. Addresses, I'll give the alias as A for address table. So on is nothing but joining key. This is just the syntax of SQL that we follow. So joining key for person ID, person table is person ID. That joins up with the address that is person ID as well. Okay. Mm, I feel this is pretty much it. First name comes from the person table, so P dot. Let's make sure that we don't get the error that we usually get of not providing the alias or not providing which table to take it from. So person ID comes from person, last name also comes from person, but the city and state comes from. Let's try to run. Let's see. Yep. Let's try to submit. Oh, accepted. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. I mean, obviously, there's no rocket science here. This is a very easy peasy sum. Um, I solved in the past as well. I solved some questions, but I'll make sure to go through them again just for the series, right? These are the some solves some sums are solved in the past few days, but obviously there are so many sums that I've not solved, and you can do it simultaneously. I mean, there's no rocket science here. You don't have to by heart anything. It's just pure problem solving. And yeah, that's pretty much it. What my goal is here. I'll just stop sharing. Okay, thank you for joining, guys. Do let me know if there are any comments or suggestions for the next video. I'll upload this video on YouTube and maybe hear from you guys. Thank you so much. I'll come back tomorrow. See you.